Lawin Media Network.
Bringing to you the most relevant content across all platforms.
Business, legal, politics, health, lifestyle, and entertainment.
Your source for all the news and updates in the greater Houston community from Texas and all over the world.
Get informed and empowered with Lawin Media Network.
The following program is produced by Lawin Media Network. The views and opinions expressed in this program are solely those of the individuals appearing on the show and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Lawin Media Network, its affiliates, sponsors, or partners. The content provided in this program is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Lawin Media Network does not guarantee the accuracy, completeness, or timeliness of the information.
Hello, and welcome again to our show, episode L for Longanisa. People tend to say Langonisa, but according to Doreen Fernandez, the correct term is Longanisa. Longanisa. Just remember the word long. We're going to deal with how to make Longanisa handmade and trying hard to succeed in stuffing the meat mixture, but it's important just watch the ingredients that will be in the longanisa, the seasonings that we will use, and we can discuss that later. It's fun to do. It's nice to get your hands into the mixture, and you will see all the tips and the trivia that we will associate with that, plus different kinds of longanisas all over the Philippines. Watch this.
Episode L is what we will be doing today, and this is for longanisa. People tend to say langonisa, but the correct term is longanisa. And beyond doing longanisa, we will make it into a chorizo style longanisa, or what they call already as chorizo. We will show you now the secret ingredients of our chorizo style longanisa. We're doing pork and some of the beef. There are 4 different kinds of cuts that I'd like to use in making chorizo. One would be, of course, the essential pork fat. It's diced so that those who don't want to eat it when they see it in the sausage, they can easily discard it. But it's very important to have fat for flavor and for texture and to oil the longanisa a la chorizo. Of course, we will have our ground pork and the hand-cut meat. This time, I'm trying to use beef to see if the combination of pork and beef will be okay. Of course, because we are in Commissary Kitchen at your service, we will always try to experiment on procedures and ingredients. And I'm also adding some pork skin just to add some bite in the mouthfeel. As seasonings, we will have, of course, to make it really rich and pungent, we will have our garlic, which I minced really fine in the food processor. Do not attempt to anymore do it a hand cut. It has to be uniformly small so that when somebody eats the longanisa, it will not stick between their teeth, or it will be too big or too small. Just right. We will also, I'm just adding a little of my parsley so that just to add a little color and some herbs to the mix. Now to the important seasonings, we will be using brown sugar. I have here the most important ingredient in making it chorizo, which is smoked paprika. Now I'm showing this to you because you can also use sweet paprika, Hungarian paprika, those are the best. We will have a little vinegar, and I have some MSG or mushroom powder and brown sugar. Now, I read that to add salt, which is important, make it fine salt. Do not use this Himalayan salt or the granules because they will not blend in well with the mixture. Okay, and you don't normally add something spicy or heat or chilies to the casing because they produce gas and it might burst the casing. Of course, the most important thing is the casing, and I have here natural casing from pork. You can buy this in Academy or in the Philippines. They sell it in the provinces. They wash it well and then they hang it in the clothesline to dry. And sometimes they blow the air into it just to make it, just to check that there's are no holes. And of course, when we will be making sausage, like the first time I tried to use this, which is what is used in the provinces, but I failed miserably because you know, it was not so easy. But anything that has a big hole like this and with ridges will be fine. So I was able to get this, a funnel that's specifically good for making sausages. You don't need to buy a sausage making machine. We will do this all by hand, and later I have an assistant who will help us. Alright, so far these are the ingredients, but I'm introducing to you a new component to the menu or to the recipe, which is Mamacita's Lumpiang Shanghai Mix. Why am I having this? Why? Because Lumpiang Shanghai Mix already has a little cornstarch and some seasonings available. And what's the difference between Lumpiang Shanghai, meatballs, and sausage? They're all the same. They all need to be blended well so that they will not disintegrate when they are being cooked. Now, with all these, we will proceed with making our longanisa chorizo style. Did I mention to you that there is a secret ingredient to making sausages? And it's nothing but ice. It's because you need to keep the temperature of the meats that you are mixing cold, so that sometimes when it has a lot of fat, the fat will start to disintegrate or to melt, and that's not good for making sausages. So we will be adding this while we are mixing our meats. But first, let's go into our ingredients. What I did was 1 part of everything except, this is just a little, just to add, you know, it's like making adobo longanisa. A little vinegar, some mushroom powder, or if you want, you can have MSG. Use fine salt and a lot of paprika. I'm gonna put in everything. And a lot of our garlic. I'm adding a little parsley, pepper. I'm mixing this now. I'm putting everything. Okay, by the way, proportion-wise, you can limit the amount of fat that you will use. But I like using almost about 1/3 or 1/2 fat, and then about 1/4 skin, but this is optional. And then with my meats, I have about 50%. Okay, so let's put that all together. And now, here are some tips on combining the meat. First, you have to combine the meat, the different kinds of cuts, and then you also have to make sure that you're combining all the herbs that you put in the seasonings. And always use glass or ceramic or stainless steel. Don't work on sausage with plastic bowls. Why? Because they tend to make it warmer the meat gets warmer faster than you can keep it cold. Test the mixture before you case it, so you'll know if you will adjust the seasonings. I'm going to add now a little of the ice. This is done by sausage makers, commercial sausage makers also. When they grind the meat, they add ice to make sure that the proteins there do not melt or do not soften too much, and it's going to be hard to case them. We're going to have to go through the due diligence of.
All right, that's the first part of longanisa making. And you saw the ingredients that we put. It really depends on you, and it depends sometimes on the region that has a specialty. Like some would really have it more sweet, and they put more sugar, and they put salitre if they want, and others would just add a lot of garlic and red coloring like that one of lukban, or they put achuete. And we will discuss. We will have several kinds of longanisa later. But now I would like to really comment on the ice cubes. I have to add there many reasons why sausage makers would need, while they're grinding the meat, they need to put ice. Number one, to keep the mixture cool so that the bacteria will not so that to prevent bacteria from forming, because bacteria likes this kind of temperature. So if you keep on, and the machine will be hot, and you just keep on kneading, and your hands are also warm, the temperature of the meat might become warm and open to bacteria. So you have to keep your mixture cool. Also, in the use of paprika, you saw that I had a big container, but that's because I use a lot of paprika. But if you're just going to make longanisa or chorizo one time or once in a while, then you buy the smaller packets like this. Why? Because uh, paprika has a expiry, meaning when it starts to become brownish, maybe after several months, matagal naman, like months, no, not week. Then it will lose its paprika quality, which is actually very umami, and natural sweetness like that of tomato and bell peppers. When you roast bell peppers, the sweetness, the natural sweetness, and the natural sugars of the vegetable comes out, and that's how it is here. Especially Spanish paprika and even Hungarian paprika are the best in the world. So buy a small amount, but use it often, and then just keep on replenishing if you make a lot of longanisa. Who knows? When you watch this and you create your own style of longanisa, you can already go into your own business. Right? That's what Commissary Kitchen is for. It's about at your service. Right. I'll have some more. I will have some more comments later as we go along. But one more thing. Um, we want the longanisa to be hand chopped, because I discovered that if you keep just grinding everything, a lot of the texture is lost, right? Unless, listen to this, and I didn't mention it in the show. When you have a butcher, when you want to grind meat for longanisa or for meatloaf or for relleno, okay, tell them, please grind it popcorn, meaning it's this big, popcorn, so that when it's cooked, it will be reduced by half the size, and that's just right for chorizo. Okay, so popcorn. I'm not sure if they say number 2 in the grinder, kasi that's more technical. I'm sorry, I don't know. But I heard and I learned from somebody, sabi niya, sabi mo popcorn. And then when I said, ano ho nyo, i-grind nyo popcorn. And then they understand and they give it to you kind of big. And it's even nicer because there's a bite. Sometimes when there's too much fat or too much lean and there's no balance in between, and the texture parang you're just eating a hot dog na wala na yung texture. So hand chop is the best because it doesn't lose the juices, and it stays there, and it stays firm, and it's easier to knead. Why do you not add chili or something spicy when you're making longanisa? It's because unless you want to add just a little pero liquid, it should be liquid seasoning, hot seasoning, but not so much because it chilies are still live, and they create gas when they're already cooked up in the casing, and you don't release that. It
Are you ready for engaging conversations on education, teaching strategies, trends in the classroom?
Tune in to Teacher Talk, live Chikahan, with your hosts, Teacher Cora and Dr. Claire.
In each episode, we'll dive into meaningful discussions, share insights, and connect with fellow educators.
Don't miss out on the fun and camaraderie. Grab your
Hi, hello again. We're back. I think we should already be starting with the casing. All right. So, while we're not back to the show yet, I was going to say the casing. There's a lot of, and it's of course it's easier to source the synthetic casing, but it's still edible, and it's made of gelatin, so it's not really synthetic, not plastic, but it's still edible, and it will melt because it's made of gelatin. So, but the best is really natural hog casing. And as I was saying there in the show, sa palengke, agawan yan eh. When after the livestock are slaughtered, everybody tries to get their hold of the casing, the hog casing, and then they wash it well, okay, and inside because it has a cavity, right? May butas yan eh. That's why you're able to stuff it, and then you wash it well, and then you dry it very very well. It has to be really thoroughly dried to the point that it's already crispy. Why? To prevent again any bacteria or live uh, um, liquids there that might cause molds, or yeah, will cause molds. All right. So the hug casing is really the most important. Now, those who do not want to anymore make sapalaran with live and fresh hog casing, then you can do it the skinless way, the hubad way. Okay. Back to the TV show, back to the video.
So we just tested our mix, and to me it lacks just a little salt, but I have a solution for that. If you want to shorten your procedure, this can always come to the rescue. It already has some flavorings like garlic powder, a little cane sugar, and black pepper. And it's a good binder. So we can add this. Enough to bind it. So then you'll be producing a Lumpiang Shanghai Longanisa. So you know, it's so easy. People think it's so hard to make longanisa. No, you just have to have the casing, you have to have the right procedure, and everything should be prepared on hand. This is what you call the mise en place. Why? Because once you already start stuffing, you cannot stop and get into the middle. And oh, I forgot something. I'm here with my friend Christine. She's visiting from Manila, from the Philippines, but she's really from Bacolod. Can you greet them in Bacolod?
Mayong adlaw to everyone.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Have a good day.
Have a good day. Well, Christine is a marketing professional, and she's also a professional photographer, having covered all the destinations of the world that they have traveled to. That's what's good about being single and having the free time to discover the beautiful destinations around the world. And because of that, she put up a company with her friend Louie called Lakata. Tell us all about Lakata. Lakata or Lakata?
Lakata. Lakata means let's go.
Let's go.
So yeah, we create personalized itinerary for people who want to travel
So
all over the world.
So it's not really
Anywhere.
just a generic, go here, enjoy this. No, I think they custom plan it for you, like for us, for our age. So we cannot walk long, or like me, my husband likes scenery, me, I like palengke, you know. So they will do that, and they'll even give us tips on how to travel, what to pay, what to spend on, and where it's cheap or where it's classy and rich. Okay, while we're doing that, Chris and I are trying to get our sausage done. I'm using the Filipino style sewed off. This was a half bottle of Ban Social Perrier because it has ridges, and this is the commercial funnel that we're using. So this is a nice family activity you can do, just the way it's done in Germany, where the whole community goes together to make the sausages and then they share. There's so much of that, and that's maybe I should already share a lifestyle value with that. In the Bible, when they were harvesting wheat, there's what you could call gleaning, meaning you gather the ones that have already been left by the real harvesters for the wholesale use, and those who have helped will be able to get some of those they pick up from the extras that were not gathered. In the Philippines, it's done the same. Every May, when our kasambahays go home, they participate in planting or in harvesting rice, and those who help get a portion of the harvest, they get a share by gleaning the extra rice, and they make it into pinipig, or they bring it to the miller, or they dry it in the roadside for sharing. So that's a beautiful lifestyle value, sharing, gleaning, as in the Bible. Well, this is the Pinoy funnel And that's the commercial funnel. How are you doing there, Chris?
I'm having difficulty.
Yeah.
I'm using my hand instead.
Maybe better. But so far here, I have already done maybe foot long using a dowel as my pusher. So you can either get a funnel. What's important, see, this is what's important when you add something cold or ice to keep the mixture from not being oily or too sticky. So we're having this. Maybe Chris, you can help me later. We will just tie this up. So this, now you can see the bits of fat that are in there, which is to me really important in making any kind of longanisa.
Nance, what's the difference between longanisa and chorizo?
Chorizo is still a longanisa, but chorizo is paprika based. And it's because it's not so Filipino, because ours would be garlic based only. Paprika is also a kind of preservative for European or Western sausages. They use it a lot. I think this is already.
Yeah, I haven't moved forward.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's your baby. We can already start tying that up. So I think this is enough. Okay, we will now be tying this. The Pinoy funnel wins. And now we are just tying up.
You know why? Because this one has a, what's this?
Ridges.
Ridges.
Yeah.
The one doesn't.
Yeah. Sinadya ko yan para ako manalo. Okay, I learned a trick on how to tie it properly. So if you look here closely, I have this pre-cut. Okay. Of course, when you tie, you do it like that, right? But do it twice. Double tie. Why? It's stronger. It will stay in place. It will not unravel. Okay, so we're trying to make this this size. So again, move this here, make space. You can even make it smaller. Depends, no? Like, let's say you have a business. You already know how to. Let's say your output will be. This was 2 pounds. So you know, with 2 pounds, how many do you want to make out of that? Here.
Do it.
1, 2.
Ah, I see you. Okay. So insert
1, 2,
and insert. Okay, I got it now.
Okay, so
Alright.
so one loop, another loop,
Yes.
and then tighten. Okay, now to end this, we can always cut. Some are so good at the just like what you did with
Yeah,
that.
I just
She just knotted it. There we have our chorizo. If you don't want to do the longanisa with the calf casing anymore, edi ibola na lang natin.
Okay.
But what's important when you're making bola-bola is dapat same size. If you have an ice cream scooper, fine. But if not, then this is okay.
Just use your
Yeah.
hand, right?
And with the Mamacita Lumpia Shanghai mix, you can be sure that the binding will be good and already tasty. Now, isa pang kulit, no? I would like to add. If you're making like a longanisa burger, chorizo burger, right? Chorizo burger. Whenever you want to fry, let's say, okay, double. This would be 2 tablespoons size. Okay, good enough for a burger. You shape it. Now, when you're about to cook your burger, then you put a hole. This is a donut burger. Why? The inner part will also cook correctly and fully evenly. Then we can also make bola-bola.
Ayan.
Yeah, the longanisa style.
style.
But you know, you can always wake up the gluten sausage
It won't
type.
break.
No,
It won't separate.
no. As long as this. Look at this size. This one, it might break here. Okay, that's why you need a little more probably of the the mamacita seasoning to bind it. So here are different kinds and styles made from a longanisa chorizo mix. Alright, so here's a bigger version. Now that we're done here, we will just try to apply it in how best to serve our longanisa chorizo style when we come back. Thank you, Christine, for being here. No, we will make you taste the longanisa. Okay.
Alright, so you saw how sometimes it's frustrating how to do it na, you know, it just slips or anyway, it this one won. So you try to get this one is Perrier bottle, but you can get it. I think Coke or those litro. They'll be very efficient in making into longanisa. I did not discover this. I found this out from our kasambahay, and she was the one who said, Tinan, ano, gawin natin ganito na lang. Kasi nainis na siya sa akin. I was trying so hard to get the machine going. And ito, ginagawa namin. Oh, correct. Panalo siya. And she said, this is what we do. Oh, she sawed off the litro. And then we started doing that. And voila, meron tayong, nagkaroon na ng maraming longganisa. This one, it's okay. But, you know, it slips. Once it's oily, mahirap na, it's harder to control. But I bought this is actually a funnel, but I was trying to look for substitutes that will be good instead of buying the sausage making machine, which is expensive. All right, now let's go into some kinds of longanisas that we have. Okay, longanisa, Christine was asking what's the difference between longanisa and chorizo. To me, chorizo would be reddish because of the paprika. So, and speaking of reddish, that would be like when you say hamonado. Hamonado, kasi pag hinahamon mo, you put some, let's say, brake powder or salitre to keep the meat from keeping its color. Okay, sometimes meat, no matter how fresh, when it oxidizes, it starts to turn, it loses its redness and it doesn't look fresh anymore. So people would add salitre to keep the color red and fresh looking. Now, here's the downside or the dark side of making longanisa. Now, please don't judge me, but I have really seen how some unscrupulous palengke people would make their longanisa. And, well, I can't blame them, no? Siguro because they cannot waste meat. So they collect all the meats that were not sold and try to make longanisa out of it on the day or maybe at the end of the palengke day. On that day, that's when they start making it so that they don't waste or they don't throw away any meat. But sometimes some of these meats are already brown, diba? Although, if you, I guess they would mix it with fresh meat that's left from those that were not sold, and then they all make that all together. That's why you can mask the taste of meat with a lot of garlic, a lot of sugar, a lot of salt. See, so that's the business side of making longanisa or sausage. Now, as I mentioned, hamonado would be red, wherein the chorizo will fall under that because it would have paprika or sometimes achuete or salitre. And the recado would be enriched, meaning enriched. So may toyo and meron pang siguro some put nor to it. So malinamnam talaga. Okay? So that's the difference between the two. Now, Mention of many special longanisas. Everybody likes all kinds of longanisas. I think it's a Filipino favorite, just as it is all over the world, right? Every country has its own signature sausage, especially Spain, sosison, salsichon, the hardened, smoked, dried chorizos. And in China, they have when it's almost autumn or fall, when they have the duck liver sausage. Wow, that is so good. It's dark and it has a lot of duck liver. Wow, which is really, really, really very tasty and expensive. And then even in the Philippines, we have so many specialties. Like, of course, I love so much the Ilocos longanisa, and they have this one that is really long, mahaba, walang cuts, and when you cook it like a coil, alam mo yun, like a coil, like a mosquito, ano yan? Mosquito coil. So it's like that. It's round. It's like that big, and then you just I mean it's coiled like that, and then you cook it. Then you just slice it per serving as you want, and it's put in the Ilocos empanada. Sarap talaga. Also, every May, people would go to Lukban for the Pahiyas festival and get their share of the Lukban Longganisa, which is flavored with the juice of oregano. So I learned from one of our the Venezuela family na they said they gathered the local oregano plant and then they squeeze out the juices, and that's what adds the seasoning to their pork longganisa with lots of buo-buo na taba. Sometimes like me, no, I'm sorry, I'm not maarte when it comes to cooking. So, ay, there's so much taba. Pero kinakain pa rin. So, maybe as many kinds of longanisas there are also as many kinds of people who like different kinds. Those who like something sweetish and reddish, the cute little chorizo de Cebu is also one of the specialties that you cannot leave Cebu without buying those little cute longanisas. And minsan nga isang kagat, isang longganisa eh. So that's why you have to buy more. Mabibitin kayo. And Pampanga introduced or popularized their Pampanga longanisa, which is on the sweetish side like tocino, but they also introduced the skinless longganisa, meaning talagang hubad like what we did, what you saw there in the video. We did a skinless longganisa, but make sure that it really will hold. Hindi yung when you fry it, it will all go into different places of the pan. It will disintegrate. Okay. Baguio longganisa is also known. Sometimes they don't have the name, they don't have a nickname for it, but they call it na lang by the region. Meron din yung sa Kabanatuan, Batutay. Sabi nga dito ni Alexa or ni Google, Batutay. The Batutay longaniza of Cabanatuan is really masarap and malaki like that, very meaty. Sometimes matatakot ka, ang laki nitong okay na isa nito, isang itlog, isang anong kanin, tapos maraming bawang, suka, ayos na ang buto-buto mo, di ba? Kasi it's really big, the portioning is big. What else did I miss? Baguio, Batutay, Kabanatuan, chorizo. Oh wow, this one is talagang you will kiss the persons who do it, and I hope that the culture of making this longganisa in Alaminos will not die. Sana kayo pong mga apo ng mga lola nyo na gumagawa niyan. Si Lola Eneng, yung mga ibang lola dyan na marunong. Alaminos longganisa, yung naka-toothpick na napakamahal pero masarap, and you hardly see it in Manila because even doon pa lang ubos na. Yeah, it is so rich. I think it has so much bawang and very refined and taste. I mean, not refined but very pungent and rich in taste. Na you cannot stop with one. Kaya nga when you buy, it's painful to the pocket because it's one of the most expensive longganisas in the Philippines, but it's really worth it. In other countries, there are strange kinds of longanisas also. Like in Thailand, we tasted one that had rice in it. So parang extender. So meat and then rice. So rice is a very good stuffing because it holds well, diba? So it will not burst. And then there's also the veggie longanisa. I've never really tasted vegetarian, vegan longanisa, but I don't understand how that can be. But I promise you, I will taste. I will try to taste that and let you know in future episodes. So, which brings me to the challenge to you guys. Why don't you invent your own longanisa? You can have adobo longganisa, which is actually sa totoo lang, longganisa making would also be partly adobo na because you have the vinegar, you have your peppercorn, you have your garlic, so ano na yan, hindi mo na lang sasama yung maybe if there's laurel powder or maybe just other seasonings. That's actually adobado na longganisa. All right, back to the show. We will end by showing you the application and how we fried it and if it really will not disintegrate. See you there.
In a world filled with fleeting moments, there's beauty waiting to be captured. My name is Christian, and I specialize in immortalizing your most precious memories, from elegant weddings to vibrant events and timeless portraits. I'm here to make every moment unforgettable. Let me tell your story through the lens. Contact me today and let's create magic together.
Welcome to Season 4 of Be Bold. Why not? Get ready to make bold changes in your life with MJ Concepcion. Dive deeper into the discussions. Listen to the unstoppable voices of MJ and her guests, the legends and the rising stars. Join the celebration of talent, sports, passion, and the power of music. Tune in every Monday 7 p.m. Central, Tuesday, 8 a.m. Philippines. See you there.
After stuffing it and strangling it with our butcher's thread, and then now you will still puncture it with toothpick to prevent it from bursting. So let's put this to a test now. And I have some fried potatoes and cabbage with some eggs for the perfect sausage meal. Is it good to just start it with water? I wouldn't recommend it starting with water. Sometimes.
Why do they do that in the first place?
Some of them, they say to reduce the nitrites that you're putting in. From Matadero, I learned. He said his business is really making sausages and butchering. He said you don't need it if your product is good. There we have the donut burger and we have our mini longanisa. Because I was intending to cook this whole, but what we forgot to mention to you was that you make always a space between sausages so that you have two thighs, then you can cut through. Last tip for your longanisa chorizo style. Sometimes if you have a very thick sausage, what you can do is just make sure that you puncture it very well put a little water in a microwavable bowl and microwave it to make sure that the inside cooks first. And then you just brown it in your oil. The cooking temperature for pork or sausage would be about 125, 145. So with this, we can now serve it as a meal, or you can disintegrate this and put it into fried rice. And that is the story of our episode L, the Longanisa Delicious Time, with my guest. Thank you very much.
Thank you also, Nan.
Yeah. This is namit, meaning
Masarap.
masarap.
Delicious.
And the secrets that we taught you, including the Mamacita Lumpia Shanghai mix and the ice, and that's going to be your.
Hindi sumali, diba? Hello again. So we did you see how we did the hamburger, the chorizo burger? Okay, so the best and safest way to make sure, and the fastest way to make sure that your burger is cooked the right way is una muna little oil, and then medium heat. Okay, so that it will not burn right away. And then it will help talaga if there was a hole in the middle or a dent, like a dimple. Wala ako eh. Maglagay na lang kayo ng dimple dun sa middle para the heat there will the heat from that because it's a thinner, so there will be more heat. It will cook the from the circle, from the center going outwards, to be sure, because sometimes what happens is the burgers will cook from outside going in, tapos pag nagmamadali kayo, you forget, you just take it out, ayun pala, the middle is not yet done, especially when you want to make burgers that are really big, diba? The giant burgers, so you have to watch out for that. All right, also the skinless longanisa was there. I guess that was a very. I hope you enjoyed making watching the longanisa episode. Next week we will have episode M, and it is a mechado dedicated to my mom's way of cooking her mechado. So thank you very much again. Is it possible to make chicken longanisa? Very good question. I Facebook user. I'm not sure if this is our regular commentator, Miss Maribel. Yes, for those who like chicken, but there's not enough fat in chicken meat, and it will be dry. Maybe if you include chicken fat and of course a little of the chicken skin, then it will be good. Because if there's ground chicken and ground turkey, then you can make turkey longanisa, but not sausage. Kasi like the hot dog, I mean, it's more, the meats are already very too refined. There's no more texture that you see. It's all just in one humongous, homogeneous mix, right? So thank you for asking that question, and I hope you all, Maridel Anama. Every time I'm in the Philippines, I try longanisa from every place I visit. So far, it's Cebu that I'm not a fan of theirs. It's too sweet. Yeah, there are people who like the sweet longanisa, and there are people who like the salty longanisa, and those who like the sour longanisa. So to each his own. Sometimes by the way, when it's too sweet, what you really should do is, a little water to kasi if you cook the sweet kinds of longanisa right away in oil, it might burn quickly. Why? Because of the sugar. Sugar will caramelize too quickly. So there you have to have low heat. Be patient. It's like when you're making tocino. Okay, you cook your tocino slowly first, and then if you want the sunog-sunog at the edge, do that at the end. So in the same way, you cook your longanisa na sweet, na tinusok-tusok, in a little water or broth, and then when if you think that the inside has been cooked, then you can already start browning it or caramelizing it. Thank you very much for that. And Okay, I would use oh yeah, taking it from somebody who does icings and who does cakes. Maridel Anama said, I would use a 24-inch icing bag with a large round tip. Of course, why didn't I think of that? Yeah, but mainly because I'm not a baker, so it wasn't in my mind. Maybe that's even the best thing that can happen to you making your longanisa that way. Easy. You don't need this. You don't need that. You just need your icing bag and your tube na malaki. Okay. And she adds, Mamacita Shanghai mix is great. Would it be over the top to also add Mamacita Tocino mix? Maridel, you should really be here in the show. You should really be I'm thankful that you're our regular because you had so much tips, so many tips, so much trivia, so much practicality to what we're already teaching. And you know what? Honestly, I'm learning from you. She said, would it be good over the top to also add Mamacita's tocino mix? Exactly, because tocino mix is what will make the hamonado of the longanisa. So maybe um, reduce your Mamacita Shanghai mix. I only use that for meats that that do not need more seasoning because uh, the Shanghai Mamacita Lumpia Shanghai mix already has its own flavors. Okay? But tocino, yeah, okay na okay siya. Kung tocino, then just make it tocino. And it would be good. It probably will already mix by itself. Or maybe add a little lumpia Shanghai mix. Wouldn't May de Vera. Okay, si May. Wouldn't the paprika make it spicy? I can't handle spicy food. Actually, paprika, just because it looks red, it's not spicy. It is more of umami. It has a very rich and deep taste that is comes from bell peppers and tomatoes. So with that, there's umami taste has a savory taste, and underneath there's a sweetness and a little saltiness to it. Okay, so don't worry. I'm saying, but maybe a group of you can just invest in a small uh, tub like this of paprika, and then you can now experiment on your own longanisa. Use this at least once, try, or you can try to get a small packet of paprika and do it. All right. Um, discovered you can cook longanisa in the toaster oven. Yes, you can cook it in the toaster oven, in the air fryer. You can also bake it. Just make sure you just you turn it around, okay, and not so close to the to the heat, all right, and also not in a flat pan. You dapat may konting ganon because it will produce its own sauce, and don't lose that sauce. Toss it around para dumikit-dikit dun sa longganisa na ano. There's so many things pala that we can know, and wow, teka muna. When will you visit the Philippines? I can tour you to Alaminos. Patok, talaga, pwede kitang halikan because that is what we love so much. I remember my father, when he said, this is how special Alaminos longganisa is. Ganito yan. Yung iba, gusto mo ng longganisa? Oh, okay, ito. Gusto mo ng Alaminos longganisa? Yan. Ganyan yung style. Meaning, teka muna, why? Why is that? Yung pala, because it's the best in the Philippines. And May, I will take you up on that. Lagot ka, talaga. Huwag mong kakalimutan. Sinulat ko na yung sinabi mo. And we will really be very happy to travel 3-4 hours just to get to that Alaminos. And I want to meet the old women who are cooking that. I still remember Cha Eneng, who demonstrated to my Lola Asyang how to make that. And we sa dami namin, we were only about able to eat one small piece or two small pieces because it was for her special guest. But since then, my father would always, whenever he's in that area, he would always bring home some, and we would savor that. Yes, see you, and you promised to bring us there to Alaminos. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, Miss May de Vera. And to all of you who are watching, please invite your friends. And as I said, Commissary Kitchen, we learned from you just as you learned a little from us. But like with Maridel Mengito there, who can say now we don't learn anything from her? We learn so many things, and here's to your good health. So to everyone, God is good. Thank you. Watch again the next episode, and we will be very, very excited to show you episode M, which is my mom's mechado. God bless you all. Thank you.
Welcome to Season 2 of The Pink Table Talk by Dr. Carly D. Tune in and let's think pink on Wednesday. Come join as we are creating community through conversation.